The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Laugh like the sun always shines, spreading will, fun times, and there's always something to remember, always something to consider.
Hi, this is Katreese Barnes and Something to Consider. And tonight my guest is the talented singer-songwriter, Brian Dunne, and I'm going to zoom you in. Hi, Brian.
Hi there.
I think I just saw a cat. Did you just?
Yeah,
weren't you just holding
I think
a cat?
he sensed that the camera was around and he bailed on the show.
What's the name of your cat?
His name's Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious will be back soon.
Yeah, I think he probably will.
Okay. Well, how are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, we're just snowed in here, so.
Yes.
You
Just
know.
so everybody knows out there that we're in New York. Brian's in Brooklyn. I'm in Manhattan. And I said Manhattan because it's really, really cold. Are you snowed in?
Yeah, I mean, you know, relatively speaking, everybody sort of sensationalizes these things, but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's funny because we're in New York and we still can get around.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go meet some friends at the bar in a little bit, so I think it's gonna be a-okay.
How far is the local bar?
Well, there's one right outside the door, but I think we're gonna venture out. We'll take the bus or something.
Busting it to the bar. Write a song about it during the snowstorm.
Yeah, you got to be active somehow. Got to get my workout in.
Well, you just did a show that I created called Welcome to My House.
Yeah.
And I met you that day. And you did your single called Don't Give Up On.
Yeah, Don't Give Up on Me, yeah.
And I'm going to play a little bit for it so people can hear.
Sure.
A little bit while we're talking. I don't know if you can hear that, but I just started the feed.
I trust you.
Mountains crumble and they fall. Trees tumble no matter how tall.
Oh, there it is.
From East Los Angeles to the Garden State Parkway. Well, I'm getting dressed in the moonlight now. Got my jacket on and I'm heading out. If I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose you the hard way. If I'm gonna lose you, I'm gonna lose you the hard way. But if my words get fumbled, well then this is what I meant to say. You can make a good case out of my mistakes. You'd be right to write me out. Don't give up on me now.
Right on.
If you need to throw a stone, you can throw a stone. If you wanna call me names, make yourself at home. Don't give up on me now. And you can kiss me once and I'll be satisfied. Kiss me once, and baby kiss me twice. Might as well take you for all I can take you for. Make me a movie, make it a cliche. Some things are supposed
They
to
can't
be
hear us now,
that
right?
way. I wanna
Oh, yeah, they
shake
can hear
and rattle you right down to your core. Yeah, I wanna burn through the streets right up to your front door. You can make a good case out of my mistakes. You'd be right to write me out. But don't give up on me now.
I'm going to add another harmony.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
on the
need to
record.
throw a stone, you can throw a stone. If you wanna call me names, make yourself at home. Don't give up, you can't give up on me now. mountains crumble when they fall, and trees tumble no matter how tall. Anything real can sometimes hit the ground. So there's no way your walls can keep from coming down. And you can make a good case out of my mistakes. Should be right to write me out. But don't give up, don't give up on me now. If you need to throw a stone, you can throw a stone. If you want to call me names, make yourself at home. Don't give up, you can't give up on me now. So don't give up on me now.
And that was Brian after I met him. Was it about a week and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up on me now. What was the inspiration for that song?
Well, it's kind of like twofold. I was watching something on TV, and I was like, I was sort of like touched by this final scene. And it was sort of like it sort of fell into a certain category of like, I don't know, I guess maybe like romantic comedy, where there were like certain tropes, and probably some cliches being touched upon, but I was like, I just don't care. I like it. And then there's a lot of personal stuff in there. I have a tendency to screw things up, so that's a sort of a autobiographical.
Okay. I guess you don't want to elaborate on that.
Nah, we'll leave it up to the listener.
Okay. Well, it's funny. I went to see you at Rosewood. I didn't realize how funny you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you might be the only one who thinks so. So.
No. Because you were kind of quiet when you were on the show. So.
Yeah, I'm absorbing.
But it sounded amazing. I thought your show was great.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you have any more of those shows coming up?
You know what? I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but I don't think it's fine. We are going to do a residency at Rockwood every other Thursday in February and March. We're going to do that. It's going to be the March 8th, March 22nd, and February 8th, February 22nd. I said that all backwards, but the 8th and the 22nd of both months, every other Thursday.
Will it be the same band?
No, we're going to mix up the lineups, do some different things. One of them will be that band, and then a couple different like amalgamations of that band, that type of thing, and maybe some guest artists, and things like that.
So what songs are you going to do from your recent EP or some new stuff?
Well, yeah, so we've been playing a lot off the new LP and things like that. So I think we'll probably use it as an opportunity to maybe dig a little further into the back catalog. And then I've got a new record that's pretty much written that's hasn't been recorded yet, but I'd like to play some stuff off that as well.
Now, do you do this full time or do you have a day job?
I have no day job, no.
See, that's great.
Full time.
You're one of the few.
Oh, thank you. I try to.
Really, I mean, in this day and age.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on the road, and that's sort of how I think an artist of my caliber is able to keep the wheels turning, keep the lights on here in New York, because I spend a lot of time out as a support act for other artists, opening up for them, and that's really brought me a lot of great stuff because your audience is kind of a blank slate. They're there to see who they bought tickets for, and they don't know who you are, but you'll find yourself in some pretty nice theaters, and it's really worked out for me.
Now, how do you get those gigs? Because people are always asking me, how do I break in? And
it's a big secret. No, I think that I'll put it to you this way. I can't share my contact list. I'll say that I think if I'd have known that you can ask for things right when I started, I would have been a lot further along. If you want something, You just have to ask for it, and you just kind of have to figure out who to ask and not be afraid to hear no.
And is that what you did? You just asked for it?
That's sort of that's you'd be surprised, but that's sort of how it works. Most people are either inquiring or answering inquiries.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
And you did it yourself without a manager?
I have management now, but in the very beginning, the first couple of years, it was just me. It's me in my car, and I managed to find my way into some pretty legit situations. I also found my way into some pretty illegit situations, but I've done like 130 dates a year for the last like 4 or 5 years. And I know I don't look like I've done anything, but
no, that's a lot.
yeah, it's cool. And I just try to keep it up because honestly, like 125 dates, it's kind of brutal, but I don't know. It's also not as many days as like everybody else works. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure driving Uber every day can be
I
brutal.
think it's a lot more taxing on the
yes
on the psyche. So
yeah, like a lot, and it's not glamorous to travel, but it's better to be playing your original music.
it can be glamorous to travel. As often as it's glamorous, it's deathly unglamorous. It is everything that you would imagine, and so much worse and so much better at the same time.
What's one of the most unglamorous stories of the road?
Oh God. I've stayed in a lot of Red Roof Inns. I've slept on a lot of questionable couches.
And Red Roof is better than think.
I tend to draw the line at like the 1-star hotels because they wind up costing you more than they save you in the long run.
Yeah.
On doctor's bills or God knows whatever else.
I
yeah.
know one time I did a gig and there were roaches in my room, and I just didn't even stay in that room and sat in the lobby all night.
Yeah, no. At a certain point, you kind of you cross the threshold. It's worth the $75.
Yeah.
To get yourself a La Quinta.
And the upgrade.
Oh,
hey,
man, La Quinta's fucking killing. Oh, I can't say the F word. Sorry.
Yes, you can.
Oh, you can? Okay,
yeah.
Well, I'll try not to. For the parents out there.
La Quinta. Is it La Quinta or Quinta? We should get like an endorsement deal.
La Quinta, but I will, I'll just keep it as it is. I know it. I don't know if it's earned really its pronunciation.
Yeah, I think I draw the line with La Quinta too. That would probably be as low as I go. Mm-hmm. And like sometimes, when you're traveling, do you find that sometimes people make promises and then you get to the gig and they don't have the money?
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Generally, everybody's a lot cooler now because you can find them. You can find them on the internet. It's not like, oh, you went to play in some warehouse in Indiana, it's not there anymore. It's like generally speaking, people keep their promises. But I've had a few times I've had to shake down people or walk away with not what I was told I would have. Sometimes, if it's a bad show all around and say you're the opening act, sometimes it's a good idea to lower your cost overall, because it's like I try not to care about the money so much. I think if you take care of the music, it sort of takes care of you, that sort of thing. And I know that's not a good business model, but it's worked out for me so far.
Now, when you're traveling, are you mostly just playing one-man shows or like one guitar, not really with a full band, or?
Yeah, I'd like to do more traveling with the band and with the trio. I'm going to be going out in March with the trio, which is the violinist and pianist that you saw at that show. Yeah, mostly I travel alone. Just it's by nature of sort of what I can afford, and also, he who travels fastest travels alone. So, I'm kind of on a mission.
So. And how long have you been at this? I mean, you said the past 4 years
Past 4 years I've been really touring. I've been playing my whole life. I went to Berkeley up in Boston. I spent 2 years sort of hanging out in New York and trying to be found, or some weird concept I have in the music industry that hasn't really existed since the 70s, where you're just playing in a room and someone grabs you and, put you up on the hill. But I
Did
did
you
a couple.
find that? Did you graduate from Berkeley, or did you
I did
just?
graduate. Yeah.
Did you? Do you think that helps to have
To
a?
graduate, I think it doesn't matter, honestly, to graduate. I mean, I couldn't find my diploma if you asked me to, but on the same token, I think that at a certain point, it became very cool to drop out of Berkeley. Um, but I think when it was cool to drop out of Berkeley, it was a lot. 18 was a lot older when it was 1974 and Pat Metheny dropped out of Berkeley. If you drop out of Berkeley at 19 now, you'd be hard pressed to get into Rockwood Music Hall. You know what I mean? 22 is still a baby these days.
I
So
mean, they actually go by that to let people play at Rockwood if you've
I
graduated.
just think it's a 21 plus club.
Oh,
So
so you might
there's
as well
no
be.
rush. I think that people were in a rush back then because I think that there was this sort of understanding that maybe you like your days as a um successful musician were up when you were like 30 or something. That's just sort of how people I think thought of it, and it's just not how it is anymore.
Did you find by going to Berkeley you were able to at least practice and connect with musicians, unlike
Yeah.
maybe in the past where that could have happened from just the circuit, which doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely it gives you a netting of people that you know. You don't start in this world cold. You have
Yeah.
friends, you have people that you know. I do wish that New York was more of a hot spot for people to come to. I think right now Nashville sort of takes the cake for people right now because I think that there's still people buying music in the contemporary country market, and there's a trickle down from that. Um, so there's still like some semblance of an industry, but I honestly never wanted to be a part of the music industry at all. The music, and I feel like I do this in spite of the music industry. I do it because I like to play music. The industry
So,
was always the evil part.
so how do you bypass the industry?
I mean, you have to play ball, but if you play songs on your instrument and you travel around, you've already bypassed the industry. You don't have to take any meetings to tell you that you can put 100 people in a room in Detroit.
Right. So
So
you're basically earning your own stripes without the.
yeah.
Do you think, with this whole net neutrality thing, that's going to change that too? Because I'm sure you've benefited from like this social media aspect too.
On some level, honestly, most of my fans come from grassroots, just playing the shows in the cities, getting in front of people. If it's not real, it's not a thing. I find that social media and um, email has made it obviously, and Google Maps has made it much easier to put a tour together on my own. But ultimately, the only thing that could stop me is somebody standing between myself and the stage, and that's just not going to happen because I kill them.
Now, you had mentioned Nashville and country. Is that what you would consider your style of music, country rock, or
Not
you
really.
don't? Not really?
I think that people are, and you can imagine I get this with the way that my voice sounds. I think I just make American music,
Yeah.
but people are so sensitive to anything that sounds like it comes from I'm from New York, but I grew up in a small town. And so it's a little bit of, there's that in there. There's that, not even influence, but just rooting in things that are, um, rural or suburban on some level, small town life. That's where I come from. So it'd be false of me to make sort of music that didn't represent me in that way, but I don't consider it country. No, I would call my music. I think it would have been rock and roll in the '70s, and now that that's like sort of a passe reference, I tend to call it like it's Americana or it's
Yeah, I know what you're saying because, when I went to your show, I don't know why Jim Croce or that's how you
yeah.
pronounce
Jim
it?
Croce is a hero of mine for sure.
Yeah, that's who I hear.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's one of my favorite songwriters, and I've always sort of strived to sound like him. So thank you.
I picked on that. I picked that
Yeah,
up because I was
good.
like,
Yeah, good catch.
and what's funny about that is that's what I mean about today's scene. It's like a guy like that could have a hit record right next to Marvin Gaye.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
you know.
I think about that a lot too. And the separation of the genres, where now Jim Croce and Marvin Gaye would have had nothing to do with each other if they came out in 2017. But back then they could play back to back on the same station.
Oh yeah,
You
and
know?
that's what I consider classic music, be it pop or
Yeah,
soul or whatever,
R&B.
and that's what is motivating my show. People who do that classic, who write that classic style.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the funny thing I think about it is, like, sometimes people um, reference it as like a retro sort of thing, but I just think, like, I just take what I like, and I hear a lot of modern music that I like too. But humans have existed for, like, this much time, and 30 years ago was like a second ago in the scheme of things. So if you like the way that the drums sounded then, why not? you know
Well, one thing I did like about your project is that you have like these instrumental sections. Everybody's like so like chorus,
Yeah.
verse, chorus, verse, but you'll have like man double instrumental section.
Yeah, I like that. Uh, I sort of made I had sort of made a promise to myself that um, I became like a really serious songwriter when I got to college, and I really fell in love with the craft. And I believed in my heart that a guitar solo should never be present in a song unless it served the story. And at a certain point, I just was like, but also guitar solos are just awesome. They're just great. Like, sometimes it's like, maybe don't overthink it. Maybe put a solo in because it sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I miss solos in music.
Yeah. So do I. I just, so I wanted to contribute my part.
I actually miss even like the hooky instrumental songs that used to exist.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, like, I would listen to Booker T and the MGs over
Yeah,
any, any group that's out today, No offense to the groups that are out today, but you're not Booker T.
right. Are those like on a given day? Is that the kind of music you listen to at home, or
Yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything. But I tend to gravitate towards songwriters. Let's see what I listened to today. I listened to The Second Side of Still Crazy After All These Years. I listened to the new Mavis Staples record. And what else was I checking out this morning? Um,
I didn't know Mavis Staples had a new record.
yeah, Jeff Tweedy produced it. He's produced her last couple. It's called If I Were All Black. It's really good. The sounds are really cool too. Like, I think that sometimes with veteran R&B acts, they kind of go for this like over the top kind of classic horn sound, big old drums, and they kind of made it sound like, I don't know, like, I guess if Mavis Staples fronted Wilco or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's super cool.
I am gonna go check that out tonight.
Yeah.
That sounds like I would never have. That description is very compelling.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jack Tweedy, I think he used his son on it. I could be making that up. His son played the drums on it, and he played on the Tweedy record. And I think I heard that. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it has a very Wilco vibe.
Oh, we're gonna come after you if you're wrong. We're gonna do a petition.
It's okay.
You're distributing false information about Mavis Staples.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll bring attention to my name or something.
That's all we need is a little bit of controversy to.
Yeah, negative attention is good. I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't even know how. Yeah, I just saw some kind of beef between. I'm not going to say some names, but it does seem like beefs. So you need to find a beef with some.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it.
I think it helps, or be on a reality show.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So
You're not going to do that?
no, thank you.
Snapchat reality show?
I don't even have that. I don't even have
Really?
Snapchat. Yeah, no reality shows. Just the guitar on the stage, and then
some good songs
later. Yeah, and the songs.
You'll probably never be, but so famous then.
Just
kidding.
That's okay with me.
I'm just kidding. You're doing very well if you can do this full time.
Oh
Not
yeah,
too many people
you know,
can say that.
it's served me well so far.
Especially from a younger generation. I mean, like I do find that people who created their niches later can kind of navigate and survive, but
Mhm.
starting at like, you know, breaking through, it's not
Yeah.
as easy as it used to be.
No, that's a good thought. Yeah, it's certainly not as easy, but I think that if people knew how much you could attribute to just hammer and nail and sort of keep it simple, find the three things that you like doing, and just those are the only qualifications when you ask yourself, what do I do today? I like, you know, because the music industry, they'll cloud your head with all sorts of, you gotta you know, you gotta have a YouTube presence, or you gotta have you know, an Instagram following, or if you're a singer songwriter, maybe you want to try singing on an EDM track. I've been told all these things in my life, and what it came down to is, what I like to do is I like to play songs for people and make interesting records. That's what I want to do. And if I do those
Hold
things,
that thought. We're going to end up doing part 2 with
oh, cool.
Brian Dunne. So we'll be back next week with Brian's part done.
Through the night, made me feel so right, and there's always